Well, Greg, I think what we have to realize is that we're in a world situation unlike any that anybody's ever known before. We have a global empire. It's a corporate empire. It's not a United States empire. It's the first time in history that it's really not a national empire. It's the corporatocracy. It's the big corporations, the heads of corporations that control everything in the world. Now, this is not a conspiracy theory. These heads of the corporations don't get together secretly and confer with each other. But they are all driven by one motive, which is to maximize profits regardless of the social and environmental costs. And let's face it, the economy of China, the economy of Russia, just like the economy of the United States, is very dependent on these big corporations. China's done a lot to create its own economic growth, but it could not have happened without the big multinationals. So they're playing an incredibly important role today. And in fact, this has created a failed global economic system. Many statistics, but just one that's extremely telling, I think, is that less than 5% of us live in the United States, and we consume almost 30% of the world's resources, while half the world is starving or on the verge of starvation. Now, that's not a model. China can't do that. Russia can't do that. Africa can't do that. Latin America can't do it. 5% consuming 30%. You can't repeat that. But they're trying to repeat it. They're trying to go out.
What do you think about the whole conflict in NATO, Ukraine, Russia, the whole area over there that could ignite? And they're also talking about furthering sanctions on Russia. The U.S. is. There are worries about of the U.S. just saying, "Oh, you owe this. So you think we owe you this bond money? Well, we're defaulting." Also, backlash in Europe. I mean, what can go wrong in the whole region over there?
Well, there's a number of things going on here. I think one is that we have to fess up to the fact that we being the United States and the corporatocracy, which basically controls our government, really screwed up. After the demise of the Soviet Union in 1991, the United States was the only superpower in the world. But rather than using that as a real launching pad to do great things in the world, we exploited people. And again, it wasn't so much the United States; it was big corporations. But they used the United States, and the United States went along. Let's face it: nobody gets elected president in the United States without huge corporate support. It's not Obama's fault; he wouldn't get elected if he hadn't taken that support. And then he becomes a servant to the corporations, and they've reacted very, very badly, I think, including in the former Soviet Union countries, those states, where the corporatocracy has gone in and the United States, allied with Europe, with much of Europe, has tried desperately to embrace these countries that were once Soviet countries, to bring them into our field of influence, primarily for the corporations. Russia has taken exception to this. And many people in those countries have taken exception to this. Many of those people speak Russian. They relate more to Russia than they do to us. So I think we made some classic errors there. Now, when I say the issue is complicated, it's also complicated because, in a way, the corporations want to see this struggle going on. The threat of war is good for business. It's not just the businesses that make the weapons. They're all gearing up. They're selling a lot of weapons these days. But everybody that supports those businesses, insurance companies, the banks, Wall Street, Coca-Cola, the people who supply food and drinks and so on, everybody out there in that corporatocracy world benefits from the threat of war. We really have what I call a death economy today, which to a large degree is based on war and the threat of war.